Hi everyone, it's Vlad from the future. I was editing the video that you are about to watch and I noticed a couple of things that I need to bring to your attention. The first one is that you'll see me talking about a lifetime license from Musio at the price of $4.99. That was a campaign that they ran for a couple of weeks, which is not available anymore, so the current cost should be $9.99, okay? The second thing is that this video is just myself speaking about why I purchased this license. It is not endorsed, it was not asked for or anything of that sort by cinesamples. It's just my honest and filtered opinion about my experience with Musio and cinesamples. Okay, so now to the video. Hello beautiful people, this is Vlad from Synaptic Schism, and today I'm just going to talk. So I'm sorry there's no music. There will be music later on this week about the same topic, and the topic is Musio. So what is Musio? Musio is a service and also a sampler by cinesamples, and the service is a subscription service. So let's start by that. I actually like subscription services. I know that this is not a popular opinion, and I understand the issues that professional musicians and composers may have with subscription services. The fact that I'm not a professional composer maybe makes it easier for me to use subscription services for a number of reasons that are not really relevant. But the truth is that they work really well for me. So I have the subscriptions for Studio One. In the past, I had for Slate Digital. Both these services are outstanding. There are no issues. Support works great. The software is great. So I really have a good experience with the subscriptions from those two companies, although currently I only have for Studio One. I had in the past a subscription for another instrument provider, let's say, that didn't go well at all. Usually I only talk about the things that I like, so I'm not going to go into detail, but comparing with the experience I have with Musio with just a couple of days, support, the quality of the software, the quality of the instruments is much, much better than the experience that I had before. Just for you to have an idea, I actually had an issue with loading instruments in Musio, and then I contacted support and I went to sleep. And when I returned, I had the reply. So the reply was probably less than 12 hours. And I did open the ticket late at night. So it was really fast. And in the end, the issue was not Musio, actually. It was with Studio One. So far, the subscription part, although I don't have a subscription, I have the lifetime license, is a very positive one. Why the lifetime license? Well, one of the issues that I have is that I have a spreadsheet with tons and tons of instruments that I would like to purchase in the future. Often I'm looking for an instrument. The two that always come to mind are harps and celestes. I still don't have, well, I guess now I do, a good harp and a good celeste. And having a service where I can just search for the instrument, and if that's available, just load it. It downloads, immediately runs inside the sampler, and it's done. To me, it's just perfect. It helps me to keep my template small. It helps me to have instruments that usually I'm looking for, but that I really don't want to buy because they are expensive. And all of this, for as long as I'll write music, will be available to me. My wife did ask me, well, what if they stop supporting? Well, I have to trust the company, and I do trust Cinesamples. I was never their customer, but Cinesamples is one of those companies that always gave like a good image to me, at least. So let's look at this lifetime license. That's the reason why I have this. It's very simple. I made a one-time purchase of $4.99. and that's it. It's now available. All of the instruments, current and future, all software development, all the updates is mine for as long as the company exists and I write music. So no issues with that. You can have Musio as a subscription, so an annual plan or a monthly plan, and the one that I got was a lifetime license. Just the orchestral libraries that I purchased are more expensive than the $4.99. Having all of these instruments available to me at this cost, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer in terms of making the purchase. You can argue that those instruments are not mine, and if Cinesamples doesn't support the subscription anymore or the software, I will have an issue. That's true, but to have these instruments available, to me, it works. I completely understand if it doesn't work for you, but to me, it's fine. Now, in terms of catalog, because this was an issue to me, the catalog is vast, but I already have my orchestral libraries. It's a matter of trying to understand which of the three, so Cinesamples plus the other two that I have, which one is better, and in different places using different things. Now, but there are some unique things. So, for instance, I checked this African Marimba is really good. I love Apocalyptica, and the test that I did uses Apocalyptica samples, and it's just brilliant. I checked Gina Luciani, Dark Winds, really good. Tina Guo cello is absolutely brilliant. Then you have the whole Cine stuff that it's available, the core for now, and then you have effects and synths and other things like that. Also, the Celeste, I've always struggled with the Celeste. I downloaded this one and it's brilliant, it's beautiful. There are other things that I probably won't use, this Quatre, because I already have something similar to this that it's really good. I'm really happy with it. Same for guitars and basses. I have the stuff that I want. And one thing that I've always been after is this choir. Not this specifically, but if it works, great, I can use it. However, I was wondering if $4.99 would make sense for these instruments, and I was struggling with it a bit, especially because I got information that the lifetime license was available while I was on vacation. But with the lifetime license information, there was also information about the new sound. So from now, April until August, a lot of stuff from Cinesamples is going to be available directly in Musio, namely the pro versions of Cinewinds, Cinebrass, and Cine Strings. Also, Volume 2 of Tina Guo that has a number of other articulations. Also, instruments like these to me are really important because I tend to use these to add color to other instruments. Instruments like Viola da Gamba and Ancient Bones, sort of traditional ethnic kind of instruments that I really appreciate. Then things very specific like Monster Low Winds. These are very colorful instruments, and we can go on like this. These are more choirs, harpsichord, then dozens of things, more ethnic stuff, vocals, and so on and so forth. There's a lot to explore that will be out until the end of the summer, and with the current catalog and what's going to be added until the end of the summer, I think $4.99 is a killer price, really. I think it's terrific and it opens so many things. So moving forward, there are other improvements that are currently not in the sampler that I've been thinking about, mostly because I've been checking Cinesamples instruments on YouTube, the contact versions, and those have a lot more features than what's available currently on Musio, and that worries me a little bit. Some of them are relevant, others not that much. So for instance, I really don't care too much about effects. I prefer to have the effects done by me out of the instrument. Mic positions are very relevant to me. Usually I tend to prefer dry mixes and close mic positions and then do my reverb thing and get a little bit more crunch from the sound, like a more guttural, lively sound in a way. Key switching is interesting. However, in Studio One, I actually don't need this. I can create articulation key switching directly in Studio One, contacting Musio without having to use the key switches from Musio. I mean, it's good to be here, but it's fine, it's okay. But I can just use the mapping from Studio One to create the key switching. So for the most part, this is the rationale of why I invested in Musio. I have complete trust in cinesamples. I really enjoyed the first time that I spoke with their support. Things went really, really well. And I think that this is going to help me maintain my template much better and open a lot of instruments that I don't have and that I would be spending a ton of money to build that library. And with $4.99, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer to me to just get all of these instruments. So if you have any questions or you just want to share something, just write it in the comments. You can find me on Twitter. Usually I'm pretty active there, and we can have a chat. And I hope that this was helpful and gave you an idea of my reasoning and why I think that both the subscription plans, if that's what you're looking for, or the lifetime license is a good idea in the case of cinesamples, because I think that the offer is really, really strong, and I feel that they are not going to stop here and that they are going to make a lot more stuff in the future. So I hope you enjoyed it and this was helpful. And in a couple of days, I'll release a Musio live now with music because I already did the project. Okay, so until then, bye bye.